Norway is an amazing country to visit, but visiting Norway and living in Norway are two completely different things. Or at least that's the viewpoint that seems to get spread around the internet. And it's definitely true. Moving to Norway 10 years ago was probably the biggest decision that I've made in my life so far. The decision that I didn't really think too deeply about at the time. Because of this, my expectations of Norway were set by my first visit to the country just a few months before I moved there. I never really had any prior long-standing interest in Norway, but for others who do, or those who have visited Norway a few times, the expectations can be a lot more intense and idealized. This means that the contrast between visiting Norway and actually living here can be a lot more striking once you actually decide to make the move. After all, when you're a tourist, you don't exactly have to think about things like opening bank account, paying taxes, waiting for your residence permit, or learning the language. The honeymoon period wore off a long time ago, and Norway has changed in past 10 years dramatically. With that being said, I want to reveal the challenges waiting for you in 2026 if you want to move to Norway. When you move to get the basic rights as the rest of Norwegians, you will actually need to get a residence permit. If you're coming from European Union country, you can straight move to Norway and get a temporary permit to stay and work in Norway. But with this temporary permit, you unfortunately don't have access to any basic features that are available for Norwegians. Until you get your real residence permit from UDI, you cannot access free healthcare, cannot open bank account, can't access government services, and much more. Even to rent a flat, because you will need to have something called bank ID to access all of that. And you don't get it unless you have a Norwegian personal number. To get this number, you will need to have a proof of permanent contract and housing. And even if you manage to get that, the waiting time at UDI to get a personal number now easily can be over a year. I talk about it in details in this video here. If you're applying from outside of European Union, same problem. Waiting time for approving your residence permit can take years. And the same goes for those who already have a temporary residence in Norway and waiting for approval of permanent one. My friend applied for permanent residence 2 years ago and still didn't get answer from UDI. So unless you are very patient and determined, I would advise to look at other European Union countries to settle down in 2026. Right now, it's as never difficult to get a housing loan. Even if you have a substantial salary, there are a lot of factors that play in. And if you're new to Norway, which is up to 5 years in a country, getting a loan or a loan with better interest is almost impossible. In many cases, you need to have at least 30% for the entrance, and even then can be rejected by banks because you don't have a permanent residence or citizenship. 5 years ago, the situation was much better, and my friends who lived in Norway just 3 years managed to get a good housing loan with just 15% entrance. In the past few years, Norway made a lot of changing to the laws of social security system. The welfare system that Norway is so proud of slowly but surely has become less and less available for newcomers. And I don't talk about social help. I talk about rights that Norway promised to everyone who work and pay taxes in Norway. To be eligible for many benefits, for example, related to sickness or family, you have to live and be member of national insurance scheme for at least 5 years. 2 years ago, the threshold was 3 years, and before that, 1 year. But limits are increasing. When you finally settle down, made a family, and got a kid, you need to stress about not getting child benefit that you counted on. One example that illustrates it perfectly is kontantstøtte. This is a cash benefit if your child don't attend kindergarten from age 1 to 2. The rule in Norway that everyone is entitled to kindergarten place when their child turns 1 year old. But in reality, not everyone can get a space because of various reasons. And let's be honest, not everyone wants to leave their child in kindergarten when they are so little. In that case, Norway has extra benefit that paid out monthly as a support, and now it's on 7,500 Norwegian kroners. But when you go and apply, they reject you because you didn't live in Norway for 5 full years. And the rules goes as strict as both parents need to live in country for at least 5 years. That's insane if you think that one can be Norwegian and other parent came as a spouse. You have to put family on hold for 5 years. Same goes for single parents benefits. You need to live in Norway for at least 3 years to get most of them. If you come to Norway in a hope that you will find a work here, I got bad news for you. It is as difficult as never to find a permanent job in Norway if you are highly educated. The only jobs that you are getting without language skills and good connections are low wage and bad hours. Think low-level hospitality, cleaning, low-level assistance, food chains where people are exploited to the maximum. There are a lot of sad posts on Facebook groups about how people are never finding job in many years in their field and decide to leave the country. To become a doctor in Norway, even with the full education and previous experience from other country, is also long and costly process. Things like safety and equality were a cornerstone for those who dreamt about coming for better life to Norway. If we look at the rating from World Population Review, we see that Norway is not even making it in first 20, which is a major downgrade from previous years. Oslo has become a new criminal heaven. There are 120 criminal networks registered in Oslo, and around 50 of them are connected to guns and drugs. Police are struggling to recruit and retain experienced officers. And due to the lack of resources, it's impossible to adequately respond to everyday crimes. Reports and news about overall quality of life in 2025 in Norway can make you sad. The real inflation in country is about 6%. Wealth taxes and weak krona makes people poorer and poorer. And quality of life is not the same as it used to be 10 years ago. You can see it especially by end of every year. Last 5 years there are numerous news reports about how many people are standing in lines to get free food, especially before Christmas. Normal middle class and pensionists are joining the poor and homeless in this line because people cannot afford to celebrate Christmas anymore. Numerous charity posts from people who offer to buy gifts and food for those who don't have means. It's amazing that people are ready to share and help, don't get me wrong, but it's Norway. This is a wealthy country where everyone is equal and happy. On paper. But in the end of the year, people don't have enough money to buy food and Christmas presents for their kids. Come on. In the coming years, Norway want to make immigration rules much stricter. But some people think that the country don't see the big problem it's stuck in, a vicious cycle that's hard to escape. Norway has a very low birth rate. It's only about 1.4 children per woman. It's far below what's needed to keep the population going. In the last 10 years, Norway accepted many refugees, and a lot of them haven't fully learned the language or joined the Norwegian society or work. At the same time, smart and high-earning people are leaving the country. They say life isn't as good as it was 10 years ago. The government raised taxes a lot, including the wealth tax, which first pushed the richest people to move away, and now even well-paid workers whose jobs can be done from anywhere are leaving. This means fewer people are left who pay a lot of taxes and help build the economy. Instead, there are more elderly people, more on welfare benefits, and some refugees who aren't working yet or learning Norwegian culture. Norway is still okay for now because of its oil money, but this can't last forever. If the country doesn't change its high tax and big welfare policies, this could get really tough in the future.